Hey everybody, what's up? It's Katrina from NCAT We Trust, and I am back with another interview. And I have amazing guests, and this one is no different. I am here with Brittnie Brooks. How are you today?
I'm doing so well. I'm crazy busy, but we're making it work. We're getting through it.
So I recently found out about you from some other. Like sometimes I'll find one wrestler and kind of go down a rabbit hole, and then I'm like, oh, this is cool. Let me now click on this person and kind of see what they're doing. So what initially, I guess, got you into thinking like wrestling is the career you kind of wanted to follow?
Oh, real quick, can I ask you who you found me through? Because now I'm curious.
Um, you have wrestled for CCWA, I believe, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so I
I'm
feel like
going
I've
to.
seen I feel like I've seen something where I was like, let
Yeah.
me just click. And then
Okay.
usually once I do that, I go through a whole rabbit
I
hole.
was
Like, oh, let's see what else this person does because it's always kind of cool to find new wrestlers. So
Oh, cool. Okay, because I was just like curious because I'm like, well, people always tell me like where they find me through, and I'm like, I don't even know how you know that I exist. Like, I'm just here. But what initially got me into wrestling was as a kid, I literally loved it. I watched it every single week. I couldn't miss an episode. Like I would at first I thought it was only SmackDown. So I would watch SmackDown every Friday. Then we found out about Raw and then started watching the pay-per-views. And then it just as time went on, I became more and more obsessed. I went to my first ever like show at the Footprint Center, and that was August 27th, 2013. And so after that, I just knew that I loved it. Like my walls right here actually used to be just covered in posters and action figures and like shirts and sweatbands and Sasha Banks glasses and everything. I was just obsessed. And that's actually what helped me start my Instagram and what actually helps me have like kind of fans around the world because I used to have a fan page called The Courtney Bella because I was a huge Bella Twins fan. And it was before I was wrestling. And so like I just met a lot of people and built like an insane community of people. Like that's how I already know Mia Friday. I know Riley Matthews. I know Emily J. We always would just be friends online and now we're all wrestling, which is like super cool. But yeah, I just loved it so much. And then I found out that there was a school here and I had to go to it. And like my mom was like, I don't really want you to go. And I was like, I'm going. And I started in the kids class.
oh, nice. So how have your like experience been, I guess, going into the school, but just even breaking in? Because I also started, well, I was like 6 so when I became a wrestling fan, but Shawn Michaels was the person for me that I was like, oh my God, he's so
Oh,
cool. And so because of that, while I cannot wrestle, and I tell people like anybody who wrestles, power to you guys. I took one bump and I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I'll stick to doing interviews and stuff backstage where I don't actually have to take bumps. So how has that experience as far as like training and kind of getting in that mindset and actually kind of stepping into the ring? How has that experience been for you?
Training has been not only the most difficult thing in my life that I've ever experienced, but also the most fun, the most rewarding, the most like self-discovering. Like when I started, I was 14 years old and like most of the time you can't even go to a place until you're 18 because of like the waivers and stuff. And I was just a kid and I mean until like this year until like the right when I came back from my injury, like I used to come with my mom and like I kind of just like I've grown so much in the past like year because a year ago I tore my ACL and it's just been so much self-discovery because I'm trying to build a character and have this personality inside of the ring, but also just discover who I am like as a person because
Yeah.
I mean, so like through when you're my age, like I'm eight, I just turned 18 not too long ago, and it's like there's so much I don't know about myself still and so many experiences I haven't had. So it's like training has broke me, but also built me and like reinforced me. I mean, not only my body, because I mean, I'm throwing myself against wood every single week, but also just like my mind and my mindset, my thought process, my independence, like separate. Cause whenever you're a kid, you kind of just like do whatever your parents tell you. And now it's just like, okay, like I'm doing this for me and wrestling has always been the thing where it's like, it's mine. Like, yeah, my brother was the one who kind of just got me into it, but like,
Yeah.
he stopped being a fan by like 2015, 2016. And that was when I fell even more in love with it because it was my thing. And
Yeah.
now it's my thing. And I go to these shows and just, I feel like I'm developing my own personality, becoming my own person. And that's been the biggest thing that I've gotten from training.
Nice. You mentioned kind of discovering yourself, and you are young, and so definitely I feel like I don't, even as you get older, I feel like you always learn something new about yourself. You always kind of tweak something about yourself and like just kind of change, because that's the way life is. But how, if you're, as far as getting your persona, I know wrestlers kind of turn up themselves a little bit, or there's pieces on themselves, but how have you gone about, as of right now, kind of discovering your persona when you're in the ring?
I would say I definitely do turn it up a lot. Like whenever I go out there, I love being happy and positive and like in what I work at Target and whenever I'm there, everybody's always like, "How are you so happy?" And I'm like, I don't know, I kind of just like use like I don't want people to ever come. I mean, they're paying to come see me wrestle, right?
Yeah.
I don't want them to ever feel like they're not appreciated. I mean, even as a bad guy, you can do things a certain way, but just I love to go out there with just this ball of energy because that's just kind of how I naturally am. Like at school, at work, everywhere I go, I kind of just like have that energy. So I really turn it up when I go out there and make sure like I mean the thing that means the most to me is like little girls and boys and just seeing them and seeing how happy they are. Like I was at a show yesterday and it was a car show and it wasn't wrestling fans because they were all coming to the car show. There was so many little girls that were like, "Brittnie, I knew you could do it." And like they were just so happy to because I was the only girl there. So they were just so happy to see me. And that just meant the world to me. And just feeling that energy and that love really helps me. And like every time I have that type of like engagement with someone, I'm like, okay, next time I need to go out there and turn it up even more. So just like coming out with like energy and positivity, because I'm still discovering who Brittnie Brooks is, but I'm also still discovering myself. So just like dialing that all in and figuring it out.
I love, you have such a such a sunny disposition. I love that so much, that you're just so positive. I can
My
kind of
walls
feel
are
that.
yellow, so
Yes, and I was gonna correlate the fact that you do have yellow walls, which usually means like happiness. But I love it because I can actually feel that radiating from you like through the screen, and it's so like such a positive thing to have. Not that saying, teenagers don't have it, but also, like things are so different now than when I was 18. And sometimes you can be a bit jaded because we do have social media and we do have things that might be a little bit more complicated for a teenager now than when I was 18. And so the fact that you're just so like positive is so refreshing. That's so cool. So
thank you.
so there's different types of styles of wrestling. We have the lucha, we have the high flyer, we have the ground and pound, we have a technical. So where would you how did you go about, I guess, deciding what style would fit you? But what is some of your, even if you don't necessarily do it that way, what are some of your kind of favorite wrestling styles, even to watch as a fan?
I love watching high flying because it's just so cool. And like when I see people doing it, I'm like, you are crazy cool for that. Like I wish I could do that. I definitely don't have the hops. And I'm like, it's so funny because in training, I'm most of the time the only girl there. So like my coach is like, he'll have us do stuff like the past week we were jumping over chairs, like doing just rolls over chairs, and I couldn't do it. And that bothers me because like I do want to be on the level of the guys and like I don't want to get like, a shortcut or whatever because I should have that athletic ability and stuff. And like I just think high flying is so cool and I wish I could do more of it. I am getting a lot better at like jumping over the ropes, doing more like aerial stuff, but I can't do any 450s yet. But as far as like my style, how I would explain it is kind of just like ground and pound, but also a good mixture of just like I just saw what I did well in practice and really just amplified that. Made sure that most of like there's times where I do try new moves. Like I literally just did a poison Rana in my last match, which I didn't even know was possible, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous to do it. And I also did the what is it called? Oh my god, I forgot what it was called. Ah, the the word is blanking my mind, but it's the Adam Cole like where you're on their knees and they come run and it's like a knee to the back. I don't know why I can't think of what it's called because even like I was like, what is that move called? But no, I also did that for the first time and like I do try new moves, but like a lot of the times I just see what I do well in practice and
Yeah.
make sure that everything that I go out there and do. Like I'm not if I can't do a 450, I'm not going to attempt to do a 450 and fail at it. So it's just kind of just like I think that's my style is kind of just like I love doing the basic moves and just like making sure that everything I do looks good. And like a lot of the times it doesn't turn out that way. And there's a lot of like, I'm really hard on myself and I look back on my matches really critically. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, that did not look good. Like I can't do that again. Or if I do it again, it needs to be so much better. So like, it's just kind of like watching and like getting feedback from other people, other wrestlers, other coaches, and also just my own, like, oh, I don't like that. So.
Okay. So now you mentioned the Bellas being somebody like, or women that you really looked up to, but who are some other wrestlers that kind of had you like, I have to watch? Because that was me with Sean, Jeff Hardy. Like it was obsessively where I was like, Mom, I really need to watch this pay-per-view. It's like life or death. I was very dramatic as a teenager. And so who are some of those people that kind of like you just had to kind of watch just from a fan standpoint?
Oh, I loved John Cena, and I still do. I think he's just an incredible person inside and out, and like he was literally my first favorite wrestler. I love him, and I just he's just amazing. John Cena, I mean, even now, like who I study is Shawn Michaels. I love Shawn Michaels. The Rock, just like his personality is just incredible, and his wrestling too, like he backs it up with that. And I loved Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair and just the whole women's revolution, like all 9 girls in that, like that was a huge inspiration. And I just remember watching that and being like, I can't even pick my team. Like I love the Bellas, but like both teams are so cool. So I'm like, what? Like both of the other teams are so cool. And so I loved watching the women because they just inspired me so much. Alexa Bliss, because we're very similar in size. So I love to watch what she does because I'm like, oh, I can take that. I can do like my own variation of it. But yeah, kind of them. I loved Finn Balor. I loved Dean Ambrose. I loved Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, obviously. But yeah, I mean, honestly, so many people. It's very rare for me to like find a wrestler where I don't like. Obviously, when I was a kid, I hated like Bray Wyatt because he was always a heel, always beating up John Cena. And yeah, Randy Orton was always John Cena's biggest mortal enemy, so I didn't like him, but now I love him, and I think that he's just incredible. But yeah.
Definitely can relate there. Randy Orton used to really grind me as it. But then I'm like, you know what? You're actually a really good heel, and I appreciate you now. But when I was younger, he irritated me. So I'm like, why are we doing this all the time? Just leave him alone, Randy. Just leave it alone. So totally hear you on that one. And so what is some of the best advice you have been given since starting to wrestle?
Oh my God, there's so much, especially in the past like 4 months since I started traveling with wrestling. Definitely just like do you. Like nobody is gonna be as good of a wrestler that does your style than you because you're the only one who can do it. And just like make sure you listen to every piece of advice, but also don't listen to any of it. It's like filtering out because there are a lot of people who do try to tell you things and try to like get in your head, try to be like, oh, you should do it this way, which obviously is helpful. But a lot of times it's like they're not taking into account like your body and like how you do things. So like just making sure that you're listening to everything and everybody constantly. Like your ears are always open and your mouth is closed. That's like a biggest thing for me. I still like I will never go to the training with the mindset like, oh, I should tell somebody how to do something because that's them, that's their body, and I'm not a coach. But there's a lot of people a lot of the times that try to like say stuff and I'm just like, yeah, like thank you so much. But you know, it just, I want to do what's best for me. And I listen to my coach and the people that I hold in very high regard. And like, yes, I care that someone's willing to give me that advice. But like, if you're like 2 months in trying to tell me how to do something, I'm like, okay, like, thank you. But I'm going to do it my way.
Kill him with kindness. So I'm a firm believer, especially again, the age of social media, kind of the age of having to want to hustle all the time. What are some things you do where it's kind of just decompress and kind of just give yourself some self-care time?
Oh goodness, if I ever get any, I literally nap. Like I'm gonna take a nap after this before practice. But I don't know, because like a lot of people, I'm sure that I'll have a better answer for that in a few months when I'm done graduated. Because like right now, I just have so much. I barely ever get to like slow down and do anything. Like a lot of the times I'll like go to Planet Fitness because they have tanning and like the massage chairs, and I'll just do that. But then I'm like, that sometimes is like a thing on my to-do list where like I'm like dreading going to do it. So like I don't really know. Most of the time I literally like I'm so focused on like growing my social media. Like that's fun to me. Like I love just scrolling on my phone, editing, just trying to figure out like what to post, like watching other people's stuff, listening to podcasts, listening to interviews, just everything. But that's all fun to me. So it doesn't really feel like a job. But like to like decompress, I honestly just like sleep, because a lot of the times I don't get a full night of sleep because I'm just like up doing stuff and trying to get greatness. Because what I've noticed is the most successful people in life never get 8 hours worth of sleep. They're always doing something to hustle. They're always doing something. So like whenever I can't plan a day to just be at home. Like I just can't do that, because it's like, okay, well, there's so much I could do in this day. Let's live it to the fullest and let's get stuff done. So
yeah. Okay. I would say I had to learn to kind of tweak that with myself, and like it's okay to take a day. It took a long time for me to get there though. And I'm like, no, I gotta always kind of keep myself busy. And then now it's like sometimes you just one day, even if it's an hour, as I say, sometimes you can't take a whole day. So like you got an hour, just take some time to yourself and just, decompress a little bit. So if you wasn't wrestling, I know you said you're about to graduate, but if you were not wrestling, what would be your dream job?
I don't even know, because like since I was 5 years old, I loved wrestling and I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. And now that I'm doing it, it's like I don't want to do anything else. Like when I was injured, that was like a really big mental thing for me, because I'm like, okay, like if injury is this possible, like, and I'm wanting to go down this field, like I was just like weighing it all out. Like I was gonna go to college. I literally canceled college like in February. Like literally when I started traveling for wrestling, I was doing my homework and I went to Vegas for a show, and I was up until like 4 in the morning and I had to be up at 8, and I was just doing homework, and I was like, I don't want to do this. So I literally, when I got back from that Vegas trip, I called the advisor at GCU and I was like, sorry, but I'm not going to go. And I got like my refunds back and stuff. And now I'm just like, there's nothing else in my life that I want to do other than wrestle. And I'm sure like life after wrestling will take a huge toll on me. And I'm like, I don't even want to, but somebody had brought it up in an interview a while ago, or I haven't even thought about it. And now I've been thinking about it, because I'm like, it's so far away. But like, I also hate not having a plan. But when I was a little kid though, on the first, like in kindergarten, I put on the little, every time the Martin Luther King Jr. Day happened, they would put like a little cloud and do like, I have a dream. And then it would be like your dream job. And like, I want to be a cheerleader, but the one that they throw up in the air. And so, but like by the next year that we did that, I was like, I want to be a professional wrestler. So, but yeah. So I may be a cheerleader, but I also know how unathletic and I have no hops at all. It's so bad. I can't jump. I can't do anything. I did cheerleading in 8th grade and deeply regret it. And it's the worst one. I was the worst cheerleader ever. But yeah.
I mean, you said get thrown in the air, but then you did wrestling and you kind of get thrown around a little bit.
A little bit.
So it kind of went in a way somewhat similar.
Yeah, for sure.
So one of the things I appreciate about wrestling currently is we actually have so many different types of wrestling available to us. I think like when I was growing up is, or even a little before, when it was like territorial type wrestling. And now we have different promotions, all women promotions, Japanese wrestling, and there's just so many options available for us as fans, but also kind of options for wrestlers to kind of have different things to kind of do and even get to be showcasing different kind of promotions. So what are your thoughts on like the current state of wrestling from like 5 years ago to now?
I love it, because it's honestly like there's so many ways to get to the top and get to the like main level. I personally want to do everything and anything. Like I have been hitting up promotions literally left and right and hustling. Like so many people have been coming up to me and being like, oh my God, how are you debuting for all these shows? And I'm just like, dude, I'm hustling. Like I'm sending my stuff everywhere, because I realized that in order to ever like have any kind of greatness, you have to chase it. It's not just going to come to you. You can't just be like, oh, I want to get booked on this show. Why aren't they reaching out to me? It's like, no, I need to reach out to them. I need to be like, hey, any updates? Hey, do you guys have availability? Hey, like just constantly hustling for it. And so I want to go anywhere and everywhere. And I think that the state of wrestling is just incredible right now. I personally really want to go to AEW or WWE. Those are like in my head the top of the top. WoW would be really fun. I've looked into that. I know that there's just a lot of like bigger indie promotions now. Like I really want to wrestle on GCW. I really want to wrestle on Defy. Like those are like the top list. But yeah, I'm trying to like look around because I am wanting to go to SummerSlam weekend in Detroit, Michigan. So I'm trying to figure out like what shows are over there. So if there are any promoters in Michigan running shows SummerSlam weekend listening to this right now, hit me up. Or I'll find you some way. I literally just reached out to like every promotion in Michigan today, and a lot of them were like, "Oh, we're probably not gonna have a show," and I'm just like, like I'm trying to find stuff. So, but yeah, I think the state of wrestling is just amazing right now.
I'm happy you mentioned WoW because I actually was very fortunate in December to kind of do some like watching a show at LA Comic Con, and I got to interview Capitol because I do their review show usually on Women's Wrestling Talk on Mondays, and so we review WoW wrestling, which I think is awesome. I think you would actually fit really well in WoW because you have such a personality that particular type of wrestling is meant to kind of showcase different types of personas, and I think you would work well. I'm gonna put that in the universe. I feel like wow, superheroes. If you are listening, I feel like Brittnie would be the perfect superhero. I feel like your position is just so it's so like it would fit so perfectly. I really truly believe that. So we're gonna put that in the universe. We're gonna put that out there in the universe. And so, who are some of your dream matches that you would love to have at some point?
Oh, dream matches. Like in reach, like within reach right now is Brooke Havoc. I love Brooke Havoc, and I see her at all these shows, and I'm like, dude, we just need to wrestle once. I love her so much. Billy Starks, because she is amazing. Jasmine Allure, I also have never wrestled yet, and I think she's really good, and I know she's on WoW. I do want to have another match with Mia Friday because I just love her so much. And that's like indie. So, but like my dream matches for like people who are signed are definitely like for Impact. I want to go against Jordan Grace because I think she's just amazing. And then Deonna Purrazzo, sorry. They're both just so good. And then for like WWE, definitely Charlotte, definitely Becky at some point. Like those are like the top women in wrestling right now. And for AEW, I love Sky Blue. I think she's so cool, and I think she has just like such a good energy. So I'd love to wrestle her, and honestly, just anybody in AEW. Like I know Jade Cargill, she's really good. There's so many talented people nowadays, and I'm just like, like there's so many, like just so many, and I'm just like, oh my goodness.
I love that. Like you like a lot of the women you mentioned are just like absolutely fantastic. I think I got to interview her, I think a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And I'm like, at the time, this is where she was just like really picking it up until now it's like, I'm so happy. It's like, yay. Yes. So I think I definitely like, I think those would be like great matches. I'm hoping, again, putting it out there that you can get those matches, have those dream moments, to step in the ring and also showcase what you can do for everybody as well. And so we're going to do like a really quick, like speed round of questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to say something and then you can just tell me what comes to your head when I first say it. And so last show you binge watched.
Oh, oh shoot, I can't even think of it so long ago. Maybe Stranger Things. It's been a while.
Solid show. Are you a morning bird or a night owl?
Oh, probably morning.
Okay. Last song you had on repeat.
Mr. Right Now by Drake and 21. I think it's good. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. If you can have one snack, it's like the one snack, no matter what it is, that you always have to have available. What is that snack?
Oh my gosh. So there's like these Ritz cracker sandwich things with like cheese in them. I love them so much. They're so good. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like,
oh yes,
yeah,
I love those.
Yes,
I love those. I just ate
so
some of those like yesterday. They're amazing. I love it's the Ritz bits with cheese, right? Yeah. I love those. That's definitely definitely one of my snacks. Okay, definitely earned the extra, like for that one. Favorite movie of all time.
Avengers Endgame. Even though it was so sad, it was just so iconic. I loved it.
Definitely a solid. So now I have to ask, because you mentioned Avengers. Are you a Marvel person or a DC person?
Oh, I'm obsessed with Marvel. Marvel and Star Wars, like those are my personality traits at this point. It's actually been a while though since I've seen anything like that. The last thing I saw was Ant-Man. But I mean, when I was injured, I literally was like obsessed with Star Wars and Marvels. Like I rewatched everything because I was just at home. So I literally rewatched everything and just like I loved it. I like my whole TikTok For You page was just all that stuff. And now I'm like, I don't really have a lot of time to watch those, so I still haven't seen The Mandalorian yet, but I do still love it. And I know that May the 4th is coming up, so maybe I need to like binge watch everything and then I could celebrate on May the 4th.
I mean, yes. And the new season was really pretty solid. And so I think you would enjoy it. So who's your favorite Marvel superhero then?
Spider-Man. I love Tom Holland. I love Tom Holland so much. I love his Spider-Man movies. Chef's kiss.
Yes. Big Spider-Man fan as well, since we're both from Queens. But also I loved Tobey Maguire, but Tom Holland just hit something for me as Spider-Man. I'm like, if you know Spider-Man, Tom Holland is Spider-Man. I feel like on a level of like, if you truly know Tom Holland is Spider-Man, I stand by that. But now I have to ask you, because there is always a debate with the Star Wars characters. Are you more of an episode 1 to 3? Are you more original Star Wars? Are you more with the newer like Rogue One Star Wars? Where are you in the Star Wars line?
I am prequels all the way. I literally love Anakin. I love Padme. I love Obi-Wan. Like that is like the group and that like era. And I'm like, to me, like my favorite thing ever created is Clone Wars. Even though it's animated, I am obsessed with Clone Wars. And it's just like such a good show. Like I don't even care that it's made for 8-year-olds. It's a great show. And I think anybody can watch it at any age. It's just incredible. Like I love the prequel era. Originals are good, but like every time I watch them, I'm like, oh, like because everything's a little hokey. But they're the originals, so you can't even complain.
Yeah,
sequels are the sequels. I get really upset because I love Disneyland. I'm a huge Disney fan, and Disneyland, like the whole Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is all just based on the sequels, and I'm like, let's throw some Anakin Skywalker in here, please. Like, let's get some Anakin in. Let's get some Ahsoka in. Like, come on.
I mean, I feel like Obi-Wan was definitely for the episodes 1 to 3. Obi-Wan was like, I love Ewan McGregor, and so I'm like, I love him. Like, it's great. So when his show came out, I was like, okay, I am definitely watching this because I love Ewan McGregor.
Good. Oh my god,
such a perfect Obi-Wan.
Oh my god, and Hayden Christensen. I love Hayden Christensen so much.
It's so cool because I'm starting to see now. I noticed like a few years ago, it was a really weird online discourse, and I'm like, what did he do to you guys? You guys are this upset.
I know.
It's a nicer that when he came back, they were a lot nicer because I'm like, y'all was so mean, and he did nothing. They were so mean. I didn't understand. It was such a weird hate thing happening, and I'm like, what did he do to you guys? Like, what
literally, I was like, why are y'all mad? Chill out.
And so, if you were stuck on an island and you can only take 3 things, what would those 3 things be and why?
Oh, well, my phone, because I'm a teenager in this century. But my phone, because like everything's on there, and the charger, so that I can charge my phone and have. Oh, and then at that point, I would also probably need like a Wi-Fi receiver or something.
Okay. Because we were kind of talking about superheroes. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Ooh, probably to like teleport. It would be so nice. I wouldn't have to do like these 10-hour drives to shows. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but teleporting, like to just, I want to be in Ohio right now. And then you're like in Ohio. be so nice because traveling it's fun once you're there, but like the whole drive and the flight, like that is the most boring part. I love airports. I'm probably weird when I say that because I just love airports because it seems like everybody kind of wants to be there because they're excited because they're going places, and I love to go to places where people want to be. So I love airports, but like then once I'm on the flight and it's just like boring, I'm like, okay, what do I do? Most of the time I just sleep because like I said, I don't get a lot of sleep. So, but like I don't know, I hate the traveling part, but I love being at the places and seeing the places, but the whole like drive and stuff is just exhausting.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to notice about the flying. Like the flying, once you're there, it's like yay, but it's like, oh my god, why? I've had a lot of crazy things happen in the last couple of flights, and I'm like, all right, universe, what is happening? Why is all these weird things happening when I'm flying? But definitely, yeah, it's been like some insane things. I'm like, why is this happening? But once I'm there, it's cool. It's been some weirdest things. I'm like, this is just a weird, like a friend was like, maybe you should start just vlogging. And I'm like, I might, because it's always the most insane thing you could think of happening. I'm like, oh, okay, well, here's something else I didn't plan for, but let's kind of work this out. And so my last question for you is like, what do you see for yourself in like the next like 5 years or so? Just something, even if it's something just for yourself, like that you want to accomplish, or just something that's just a goal for 5 years from now.
In 5 years, I would hope to be signed, and I know that's very like not a long window. And by signed, I mean either to like AEW, WWE. I know that that's not like a long period of time, but I also know that like this is the time to do it. Like between 18 and 25, I do have the highest chance of getting signed and just getting better and developing more of a character of my style of everything. So just like grinding my butt off now to hopefully then in the next 5 years, 5 to 7 years, like just make it. And like that is what I hope. I want to put it out there that I see it for myself, even though like I sometimes struggle with like my confidence and stuff and like thinking like, because a lot of people will be like, oh, you're so good. And I'm like, yeah, but like that wasn't good. And like I'll just start picking myself apart. But like even just like trying to say like I see myself getting signed, and like just saying that like is like kind of hard for me to say because I'm like, I don't think I'm good at all. But just getting better and getting to that level to hopefully be signed in the next 5 years.
I mean, I think I can. I feel like I said, you have such a good desk position. I feel like that's like, who wouldn't want that in a locker room? I truly feel like that's just a really good energy to have, honestly. Especially with sometimes how wrestling can be like just a lot sometimes, and then it's just good and bad and everything as it is with everything, but it's also just such a nice kind of energy to have. And so I feel like you definitely will be signed at some point. I feel like that's too much of a I would hope people would see that and be like, let's just bring this sunshine into the into the locker room. I feel like I said, I can feel that radiating, and that's like not common, but I feel like you really truly just have such a like really positive outlook on things that I feel like, hello, somebody bring that in, just bring it in, bring it in the fold, you know.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I'm just like I said, it's very rare I see this level of just like, oh man, just such joyfulness. I love that. It's just such a good energy, a good feeling. And so I want to give you the floor to kind of tell everybody what you have coming up and where they can find you.
Okay, so for everything, you can follow me on Instagram at the Brittnie Brooks. And then Facebook is Brittnie Brooks. Twitter is at Brittnie Brooks. I have a YouTube channel. I haven't updated it in a bit because I'm just waiting on footage. And then I have a storefront here where you can buy my merch. If you don't come to one of my shows, but upcoming, I believe this weekend I will be at Knox Pro in California, in Bakersfield, California. And then next weekend, I'm going to New York, which is my first time on the West Coast. I will be at Victory Pro Wrestling, or I said first time on the West Coast, first time on the East Coast. I will be at Victory Pro Wrestling. And then the weekend after that, May 13th, is FSW in Las Vegas. And then after that is May 20th for NTLL, New Tradition Lucha Libre. And that is in California, like LA area. And then the next day, I'm doing a signing at Jimmy's World Order. So the 21st. And then I will probably be in Vegas for Full Tilt AEW Double or Nothing weekend. And then the 25th, though, or no, the 27th. I'm back in Arizona for my next show in Arizona. And that is AWF Wildcard Rumble. And that's actually the day that I graduate high school. So that day will be huge because that'll kind of just be like the second I walk that graduation stage and then come to the show, I feel like it'll be just a whole new me because now I don't have to worry about school anymore. So really excited for that. After that, I believe I'm doing a show in Douglas, Arizona, which is about like 3 hours from Phoenix. And then the week after that, June 10th, I'm doing Mission Pro, which is so exciting because it's the all women's Thunder Rosa's company. And I'm super excited for that. And then just from there, I have so much going on. I'm hoping to be in Detroit for SummerSlam weekend, hopefully making my way out to Chicago. I know that in June, I will also be going to Minnesota. So it's going to be the summer of BB, the summer of Brittnie Brooks. I'm trying to like get that on a shirt. Hopefully we'll see a shirt with that on there.
Oh, that's so awesome. There's a possibility. I think I might be at that VPW show. And so I might get to meet you in person. Yes. we're just talking to the owner a few days ago because we met for the first time in March. And so he was just telling us like, so I might be there. So that's very possible that we can meet in person. Yes.
Yes, that would be awesome. For sure.
But I want to thank you so much, Brittnie, for coming on, for taking some time out of your day to speak to me. Again, like I said, I absolutely love your energy. It's such good energy to have. And I wish you like the best on everything coming forward. I truly believe that you will be like something big in this industry. Like I said, you're too much of a like, I feel like there's too much kindness happening. Like people have to see this and just feel that and have that in their locker rooms. And so just thank you so much for coming on. I truly appreciate you for getting back to me and just wanting to come on and talk to me. And I hope I can even have you back on again sometime in the future. I would love to have you back on.
Yes, I would love to. Thank you so much for having me and all your kind words. They really mean the world to me. I really, really appreciate it.
All true though. Like I said, I love like it's just such a good energy. Like I had like a really weird day today, and that literally just brightened my day. It was just such a night. I'm like, oh, this is such good energy to have. I love this.
Thank you so much.
So thank you again. And for everybody else, I will have all the links in the description. So please make sure you give a follow on the top girl Brittnie's following on social media. Definitely check out all the shows if you're in the area she will be, and I will have the links for the shows in the description as well.